Hello, dear friends. Here we are. This is Wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. Day 29. Can you believe it? This has been a beautiful journey, learning with several spirit friends, spiritual illuminated minds, about how to be better Spiritist practitioners. And of course it's serious. Though we're joyful, it is very serious because it's the ultimate call of the heart. It's when we finally unite reasoning and feeling, and we boost ourselves like never before and reach out to others. It's the promised consoler, the revived Christ consciousness coming to us in its purest form, without dissensions, making us feel one with the world. We're no different, and together we can reach much higher places. And tonight we're going to start with Maria Dolores. You probably have heard of her before. If you have not, don't blame yourselves. No. Maria Dolores was a Brazilian educator and poetess, yes. She was born in 1900, in the year 1900. She discarnated in 1959. She was born in a city in the state of Bahia, Divaldo Franco's state. Yes, and she was born with the name Maria de Carvalho Leite. So why do we call her Maria Dolores? Maria Dolores was born in a Catholic family, like majority of Brazilians back then. And she became a teacher, started teaching children, and one day she got married. But the marriage was not happy. She divorced. They separated. Yes, because it wasn't a happy marriage. Interesting. And later, she kept working as a poetess, as an educator, and she was so good at it that people started calling her, like, to write in the newspapers and to protect herself from criticism. Imagine a woman at that time. She needed to protect herself in so many ways. She had the pseudonym Maria Dolores. Later she met an Italian man who became a companion, and they later got together. She adopted 6 children. And what is interesting about her as well is that one point in her life, throughout many sufferings, she decided to know of Spiritism. But remember, knowing of Spiritism and affiliating herself to Spiritism at that time was not easy. And I know it still isn't easy in many parts of the world, but it's much easier nowadays compared to the last century, especially in the first half of the last century. But then later in life, she had a lot of accomplishments. She discarnated as a spiritist, and in the afterlife, she visited Chico Xavier in 1962. He describes his first meeting with Maria Dolores, and from there on, it's a beautiful collaboration. She brings poetry, texts, etc. What a spirit. Tonight, as a teacher, she comes to us. What an honor that she comes in this very text. And she, as a teacher, and I'll repeat, as a teacher, is quizzing us. Yes, she is. A quiz of the heart. Literally, she's writing a text that is titled Inquiring Ourselves. Asking questions to ourselves. It's the quiz, the ultimate quiz for the Spiritist Practitioner. Are you ready? You have your pen or pencil? It can be Hello Kitty. It can be any color, anything that you want, as long as you can write on the piece of paper, because we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 questions. 11 questions for her, for us. You ready for the quiz? I will say hi to everybody soon after we do the first round of the quiz. Shall we, friends? Yes, I'm gonna share, because when we share here, we can get friends in the loop. Why not? This is for Spiritist practitioners, but if you're not, you're preparing yourself to become one. Okay, so hopefully we started right and we make less mistakes. Shall we? Okay, sharing. 1, 2, 3. Bing. There you go. Maria Dolores, a teacher, a spiritist who is teaching us. She asks us, so this is a quiz, huh? If you're entering now, remember, quiz. Get a pencil or a pen, write it down. Which one, so you can evaluate, because you have a teacher, Maria Dolores, but you need to help her put together your grade, okay? This grade is temporary, but it's important. Inquiring Ourselves, Maria Dolores. What will we be in the house of our faith? In the company of those who share with us the same ideal and the same hope. Before I ask the questions, she's asking, what will we be in the Spiritist Center? Question number 1, a crystal fountain or a foul puddle? Write it down. A crystal fountain or a foul puddle. 2, a smile that sustains or a sob that discourages? A smile that sustains or a sob that discourages? 3, a laborious bee, working bee, or an eating worm? A working bee or a eating worm? 4, a ray of light or a cloud of worry? 6, a stream of blessings, a bunch, number 5, a bunch of flowers or a bough of thorns? Flowers or thorns? 6, a stream of blessings or a well of stagnant water? A stream of blessings or a well of stagnant water? A friend who understands and forgives, or an inquisitor who condemns and destroys? Again, a friend who understands and forgives, or an inquisitor who condemns and destroys? Number 8, a devoted AD or an inoperative spectator? Number 9, a companion who encourages the praiseworthy particularity of the service, or a persistent censor who only notices imperfections and defects? 10, an inveterate pessimist or a brother of joy? 11, a sincere and unselfish co-worker, or a spiritual patient, caught in the bed of human prejudices, who must be transported on other shoulders in the face of an insoluble problem. Let us inquire ourselves as to our attitude in the community to which we affiliate, and pray to the Lord that the vessel of our soul may reflect the divine light. This message is amazing because Maria Dolores, again, she was a teacher. So she's coming to us like a teacher, bringing a quiz. We need to evaluate ourselves, our performance. You know, when we work, we need annual evaluations. We need constant self-evaluation. Because sometimes we say, but I'm helping. But deep inside, I forget that what I bring is in thoughts and feelings. I'll give you an example. I come to the Spiritist Center. And if I come in the defense mode, I'm not helping. Why? If I already go thinking, if somebody says this, I'm going to say that. If somebody does this, I'm going to do that. If they don't do this, I'm not going to do that. That's a battle. So what am I? I'm not helping. I'm not building. I am combating. So Maria Dolores is asking in 11 questions whether we are a constructive presence. And when we talk about constructive presence, the mode is of peace. We don't change things with force. Not in the Christ consciousness. It's not about force. It's about love. So how do we do? The spirit friends, the mentors of the Spirit side of Virginia, they constantly repeat to me, Vanessa, when you have an issue to resolve, learn a new way of resolving things in a peaceful manner. Because in many lives, we're forceful, we're impositional. In the name of the truth, we erase people from our lives. We change things in a snap. And they say, no. Take it easy. Breathe in and out. Pray and trust. Anxiety goes down. I trust the good spirits that are taking care of us. We need to do this affirmation. You and I need to do this affirmation about our guardian angel every day. How is your relationship with your guardian angel? With your spirit protector? Oh, Vanessa, I don't know. Yeah, but God assigned a spirit that is more elevated than us to take care of us. They are more evolved and more, they love us unconditionally to unprecedented levels. We should count on them. Like in the Spirit's book, St. Augustine says, don't refrain, don't hesitate of asking us the questions that you want. Stop and ask. Literally, we should ask. Because it's like children and parents. Children cannot go places without asking the parents. We shouldn't go places without asking the spirit mentors. We should ask. And not because we can't think, but because we are double checking. You know, like children, they grow older, they double check with the parents. Not because they don't know, because they grow, they start saying, yes, I know this is proper, this is not proper. They double check. I'm gonna go do this, right, Mom? And the mom says, yes, go on. That's what it is. But Vanessa, I already know. Yeah, but double check. Mentor Joseph, I would like to study this book with our friends at Facebook Live at 11 p.m. It never happens to me, these questions, because they always tell first. But if it occurs, I would ask. Say, should I ask? And I ask. And they're going to answer. But I'm not a medium. What do I do? Feeling. Oh, feeling, 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 feeling. You have an inbuilt WhatsApp connection with your spirit mentor. You do. You have it. It's inbuilt. So, what can you lose? You have your discernment. There's no fear. If something is not peaceful, is not forgiving, kind, and loving, they are not the spirit protectors. Because the spirit protectors, they will encourage us to always forgive, to always help, to always serve, to always sacrifice ourselves. The voice that says, you've been working too much, is not a good spirit. Good spirits don't say that. No, they don't. Okay, friends, let's say hi. A break. Pause. Hello, Rihanna. How are you? And Alexandra, how are you? Lea Severo, how are you, my friend? Raquel Murray. Faith in Children is the organization, right, Raquel? Beautiful works. Keep it up, my friend. Pérola Bronze, how are you? Yes. Lívia Moraes, how are you, Lívia? Karina Alice, how are you? Teresa Castro. Hipólito, how are you? Raquel Bakeshi, how are you? Teresa Catapano. And Hercules, how are you? Ceissa. Luciana Antoine. Renata, how are you, Renata? Angelita, Fraternity Without Borders. Adilson, how are you? Jussara is here with us. Sylvia, Paula Andrade, Rudy, present, making our present pleasant. So, Maria Dolores in this beautiful text, apparently simple, as a good teacher, she's asking us to inquire ourselves. So if we go back here, she says, are we a crystal fountain or a foul puddle? And we ask, why is she asking this? Because she's talking about vibrations. Because she's talking about the source of feelings and thoughts. Is the source of our feelings and thoughts clear, crystal, beautiful, and light? Or our vibrations through thoughts and feelings are smelly, as children say, smelly, right? Is it? Yes, we need to be careful. Because before we enter the Spiritist Center, we are already bringing the vibrations. And we're polluting the air. But don't run away. Work it out and go back in. To give up is never a choice. Right? Raquel is saying here, we have a mindful education program free for children and teens where we have meditation, yoga, mindfulness practices, and art. Beautiful. If you would like, Raquel, please put the website for us, okay? It's always good to share good works. Good works need to be shared, encouraged, stimulated. 2, Maria Dolores says, a smile that sustains. So first, she talks about the inner when we enter the Spiritist Center. What am I bringing? Something that is beautiful, crystal, or something that is smelly? 2, she says, about how we express our emotions. She talks about this. A smile that sustains, or a sob that discourages. You know, some people, they enter already like, oh my God, the world is falling apart. And we understand when people are attending the center, they are in need. But the Spiritist practitioner, no. They cannot go in with that attitude. They need to compose themselves. It's not a pretend. They need to think, I'm not pity party me. No, myself. Who am I to think that the world is ending and I deserve the attention of the whole center? No, no, no. I need to swallow it, and swallow means put ourselves together and say, why am I going to put myself as the center of attention? Go inside, recompose, trust the good spirits and say, you know, there are many people suffering more than I do. Now it's my turn to serve. Forget what's happening and move forward. 3, because some people enter the center crying. And they are Spiritist practitioners. So that day, they cannot serve. Why? Because they are in need to be helped, which is valid. But we need to make sure it's like doctors and patients. You know, sometimes you go to a hospital, and it's such a funny feeling. Because I remember once I was preparing for an outpatient surgery. And I remember listening to the nurses talking about their issues, their problems. And I was like, I'm going to pray for them. But it's not comfortable. Because you as the patient, you want people to focus on you. But they are focusing on themselves. If people come to the Spiritist Center and find us crying, sobbing, outraged, etc., they're like, why am I coming here if the people whom I'm counting upon, they are falling apart? So we really need, it's not a pretend, it's not hypocrisy, it's just to make sure that we learn how to think less of ourselves and more of others. Because if we hear the stories of others there, it's likely we're going to find much worse case scenarios than ours. Thank you, Raquel. faithinchildren.org, friends. Beautiful program. 3, a working bee or a knitting worm? A working bee. And you know, what is an eating worm in a Spiritist center? It's like this. People who enter, and instead of helping, they complain, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, oh no, I think this is bad. And oh, really, we're gonna do this now? So they really spoil it. They eat up the whole thing. Ray of light or cloud of worries. Am I a ray of light when I go in? Or a cloud of worries? People look at me and they see a cloud of worries and they're like, oh my gosh. All Spiritist practitioners should read this before they go to the Spiritist Center. They should probably read the whole book every time we go to the Spiritist Center. The whole book, because each message in this book, Educandário de Luz, Educational Institute of Light, is really bringing us to another level. So we need to think about this. A stream of blessings or a well of stagnant water? You know what's the stagnant water? People who go in and only talk about their lives. There are people who are Spiritist practitioners and they are constantly and always talking about their problems. They cannot be Spiritist practitioners if they don't change that attitude, because they are corrupting the mindset of service. If their lives are consuming themselves, they need to treat themselves first and then, oh yeah, and I say this to ultimate services. And A friend who understands and forgives, or an inquisitor who condemns and destroys? So let's stop here. This is halfway through. Number 7. A friend who understands. And this serves for people who are in the Spiritist movement, not only in the Spiritist center. Because he says here, House of Faith. Am I somebody who understands others? And I'll give an example. Jorge Godinho Neri. Forgive me for always saying about him. Because sometimes I say Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, and people say, oh, but that's too far. It's too difficult to be like them. Okay, maybe it's going to be easier if I tell about somebody who looks closer. I don't know. Jorge Godinho Neri, the president of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation. I've never heard in the 20 years that I know him condemning or destroying the image of anybody. He has no trace of a former inquisitor. But there are many people in our Spiritist movement who are former inquisitors and are repeating the same mistakes. You know how they work? Just like this. They see a speaker they dislike for whatever reason. They start calling people and bad-mouthing that speaker. They're just repeating the same mistake of the past inquisitor. The end of the story is ugly. And you know why? I remember Chico Xavier telling Dr. Marlene Nobre. She told me of that story. She said, and Divaldo Franco repeated it to me too, that those who know of Spiritism cannot commit the same mistakes that they did when they were in the churches of the past. If they do, their conscience will have a hard time forgiving themselves. Super hard time. And here we are, former inquisitors, being asked to be what? The opposite. Understanding and forgiving. Bringing unity. Real unity. Real unity. Bringing concordance, friendship, uniting people. Being an element that brings people closer together, not apart. So friends, Maria Dolores, as our teacher tonight, is asking us, am I a friend who understands and forgives, or an inquisitor? We love when she says it, because that's precisely what it is. An inquisitor that condemns and destroys. You know, when we have those sentences, and the worst inquisitors are those who are not, are those who are subtle. You talk about somebody and they give you that look. So you don't know the person, or you know but you don't know like they know, and it's already a red flag that they are raising. There are many ways of raising a red flag, and I can raise a red flag by being direct, which would be more honest, or being subtle on the behind the scenes. You know, like in the church of the past. We would say hi to the person, and on the back we would talk to others, creating plots, etc. Sincerely, they deserve the lower zones. I'm just saying this because that's not fair. That's not fair. Hopefully we're not doing this. Are we? We cannot afford it. We can no longer afford that attitude. We need to understand. Understands and forgives. Tiago, how are you? And Teresa Filizola, how are you, Teresa? Maria Silva, Ivana, and John the Rose, how are you? Annie Mércia. So friends, you know, when we talk about friendship, you know, Roberto Carlos has a beautiful song that quotes the mindset of Jesus. When Jesus said we need to make friends, he was not kidding. He was not talking about Facebook friends in the sense of like friends. He's saying we need to conquer friends, help people, make friendship, real friendship bonds. You know, eu quero ter milhão de amigos, viver mais forte, poder cantar. And I know there is a version in Spanish. Yeah, I want to have 1,000,000 friends. Be stronger and sing louder, maybe. I don't know if that's the way we sing it in English, but have 1,000,000 friends. And I was telling Virginia when she was going to school the other day, she was like, oh, Mom, I have this special friend who is my sister. And I said, but you know, Jesus wants us to make 1,000,000 friends. And she was like, 1,000,000 friends? I said, yes. And we started singing. Eu quero ter 1,000,000 de amigos, viver mais forte, poder cantar. Tararam, tararam, dan, dan. And then I was telling her a story about a little dot that was at the end of the paper, like a little dot, crying, willing to have new friends. And then a voice, like the guardian angel said, keep going up and you're gonna find somebody else. And then halfway through the paper, it found another dot, and the other dot was crying. And that dot didn't know that the other friend found her. And he turned to her and said, hey, I'm here, I can be your friend. So they start jumping up and down and saying, yippee, we are friends. And they're like, oh, but we need to make more friends, because there was a voice singing the song. I want to have 1,000,000 friends, be stronger, and sing louder. And they're like, where are we going to find 1,000,000 friends? And the voice said, keep going up. So they kept going up the paper. And up there they found a line of 1,000,000 dots, singing to them, saying, hi. So telling this story to kids is a good way for them to open their hearts ever more in this world that people are feeling afraid, to making friends. And wherever your child go, you say, we're going to meet new friends. We're going to make new friends. Wherever we travel with Virginia, we say, we're going to make new friends. We're going to make new friends. Jesus wants us to make new friends. And always make new friends. Right? Rudy saying, yo quiero tener 1,000,000 de amigos y así más fuerte poder cantar. Thank you, Rudy. I wish I could hear it in your voice. Okay? Maybe one day. So, this is what it is. And Maria Dolores is saying, when we go to the Spiritist Center, we need to open our hearts to everybody. But open our hearts doesn't mean we're going to hug, we're going to have barbecue together, or have a meal together, but that spiritual meal together, like we're having here. Like we're having here. The true friendship that is lucid. Like Jesus said, the greatest title I can give to you is the title of friend. And it's a new type of friendship. When Jesus said that the disciples were his friends, he was inaugurating on the earth a new era of friendship. One that was not based on conveniences and interests. Because till then, people were friends either because they were in the same family or because of business relationships and common interests. And there's still people who are very tribal inside of them. And psychology explains it. Very tribal. They're like, oh, if we have this common interest, we're friends. If we don't, we're no longer friends. Jesus inaugurated a different kind of friendship, the true friendship. It's a spiritual friendship. As John de Rosa says, eternal friendship. We're not together in the center for any other reason but because we're aiming at the same goal of progressing together. That cannot go wrong. But the day I enter a center thinking about titles, positions, organizations, and spotlight, that's when we're in trouble. When we enter the center, mingling with others, bonding with others to work together, we'll never go wrong. We're going to work hard, but sweating together is better than sweating alone, right? That's the gym of the soul. We do a push-up together. Yes, and then it feels much better. Tiago is saying, as Haroldo Dutra says, morões juntos não fazem cerca. You know, this is a sentence that I've heard firsthand from Jorge Godinho Neri many years ago. It's a Spiritist saying. You know, when the sticks get together, the fence is stronger. But sticking together, not for the house, but for the cause. The cause above the house. The cause above organizations. And the cause is the cause of love. When people are raising flags of organizations, they lost the track of their true service. That's why the mentors at the Spirit Side of Virginia asks us to collaborate with every single organization we encounter. Whether it's Birthright in Leesburg, Virginia, the Essene Church of Bethesda, the Alternative House in Vienna, whether we help other Spiritist centers, whether we release the copyright of books that we've translated to the United States Spiritist Federation and any other organization, when we donate to other Spiritist centers or to other organizations, we care about everyone. It's not only us. When we start looking at other Spiritist centers and asking them to help us, whether Spiritist authors, whether Spiritist organizations, then we're sick. Then we need to revisit our guiding model. He never demanded anything. He always gave. And Chico Xavier was so true to Jesus' message and example. He did exactly the same. I've never heard Chico Xavier stopping by at a Spiritist organization to raise funds for his anything. On the contrary, everywhere he stopped, he would give the copyright of his books, like when he came to the United States, to the point that he even paid from his own pocket the publishing of some of his books in the United States, as he released the copyright to the New York Library. And nowadays we see many Spiritist speakers coming to the United States. They give their talks, and the funds of all the sales go to them. I'm not so sure that this is the way to go. And I say this personally as Vanessa, because according to what we're learning here, and according to Jesus, he never stopped by at any Spiritist centers thinking, we're coming to a point that instead of Spiritist speakers coming to the centers and disseminating the foundational works of Kardec, Leon Denis, and the books by Chico Xavier, they come to talk about their books only. And that's a mistake. Their books are good, but they are not center stage. Spiritism is above. People cannot make Spiritism now a business, because then it becomes business. I go there and I sell my books and I bring to my organization. Jesus never done this, and of course he hasn't, and Chico Xavier didn't either, and people shouldn't either. I know we're living a critical time, and that's why the spirits are asking us to revisit these foundational works. These. I need to enter Spiritist Center to give a talk without an agenda. My agenda is simply to fulfill God's will and share the knowledge simply as it is. She says, do I enter the house of faith as a devoted AD or as an spectator? As a companion who encourages the service or who is always pointing imperfections? The most uncomfortable thing is when people start talking bad about others. And we ask ourselves, what's the point? If people want to do Alta de Souza, and I'll say this out loud, okay? There is an Alta de Souza movement, and some people are disseminating in the world, the United States, that there's a problem with them. I know them in the United States since they came from day one, and it's been more than 12 years. I've been to their meetings, their events. They talk about Kardec, André Luiz, and others, and they sing. They have a loving heart. They don't do anything against the Spiritist teachings. But they have a strong affiliation with Alta de Souza. And who is Alta de Souza? You'll see in a few weeks, in a few days. I'm going to read to you a message by Alta de Souza. And she's a Spiritist spirit that is bringing to us messages. And that's the way it is. It's just like Joana de Angelis, André Luiz. And what's the problem? And we're becoming inquisitors. Avoiding people do events like, no, I'm not going to go to the Alta de Souza because Alta de Souza people. And I'm like, what? So send to Kardec Radio your thesis. Why not? Because they knock on people's doors to ask for donation for the food bank? What's the problem? I don't know. It works for them, and they're helping. I was there in North Carolina, and I saw American residents coming to the meeting after they've encountered people knocking on their doors. Residents who were older and had nobody caring for them or paying attention to them. There are many ways of reaching out to people. We need to have these very clear conversations, these very sincere conversations, because we're coming to a point that people are becoming inquisitors. No, this speaker, no. That speaker, no. Only this speaker. Only that speaker. This speaker, no. That one, no. Or this movement, no, because it says this or that. And even the one that talks about Projeto Espiritizar. I've heard people talking bad about it, and I'm like, so what is the issue? I don't know. I haven't found a problem yet. But if you did, let me know. If people are doing their good works and helping people, do what Jesus did. Let them be. Do not badmouth them. Because we're creating karma. Tomorrow people will not agree with us, and they're going to badmouth us. And it hurts. And that's not a Christian attitude. Is it a Christian attitude? No. Exactly, Adilson. We need to stop judging, otherwise we will arrive extremely sick back to the spiritual home and delusional, thinking we are working for Jesus. Beautifully said, and that's what it is. We really need to come to our senses And this is a conversation for Spiritist practitioners, right? Exactly. Many rays, Teresa Castro is saying, come from different directions, but the same sun. Beautiful, Teresa. The same sun. And look at our guided model. Jesus. He never stopped to say, bad, 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 bad. He always said, come work, come work, come work. Because he knows at the end of the day, everybody's going to come. Why are we pointing fingers? Why are we thinking out of pride that we are the authority? And Kardec has this question in his studies. Who is the authority? To evaluate it, only God. And if somebody is obsessed, we should be kind enough not to spread it out, because the more you spread it out, the more we push people to the abyss. How do we know it? Book Sex and Destiny, there we have André Luiz and Pedro Neves in the hospital as discarnate spirits, visiting Pedro Neves' daughter who is sick. But in the other room, they are witnessing, André Luiz and Pedro Neves, as discarnate spirits, the romance, the affair of the husband with his secretary. And Pedro Neves and André Luiz are disgusted. And the more they are disgusted, André Luiz describes, the more they feel that the couple in affair is gravitating closer to one another, until the higher spirit of Brother Felix comes in, and with compassion and kindness, emanated vibrations that make the couple split apart. So if we want to help people who are not well, judging them is pushing them to the abyss. And the question is, what can we do to help people? Because we're brothers and sisters. How long is it going to take for us to read these scriptures and feel them? Right, Alexandra? There are as many ways to do the good deeds as there are different needs. Beautiful. Good deeds, different needs. Good deeds, different needs. Love it. So, are we a pessimist or a brother of joy? Are we a sincere and unselfish co-worker? Or a spiritual patient that is always finding no solution to the problems? So, what does she recommend? Depending on the score, okay? Whatever you scored, don't be sad. Or don't be too happy, because we always have room for improvement. And it says here, let us inquire ourselves as to our attitude in the community to which we affiliate. Community, Spiritist movement in general. And pray to the Lord that the vessel of our soul may reflect the divine light. That's our prayer tonight. Joy to the Lord. The Lord has come. La 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 la. La 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 la. And that we reflect the divine light. That's all we do. We're instruments. The other day was October 4th, was celebrating St. Francis Day. Yes. May we be instruments of God. That's all we are. That's why there's no vanity, no pride, no selfishness. It's all in vain. Because at the end of the day, we're co-creators. We're not original. We're co-creating. Like parents, they give something to their children so their children feel good about it. Our main parent, the one and only, gives us the clay and says, go, 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 co-create with me. And here we are. And then we create something, we're like, oh my gosh, look what I've done. And God's smiling. Yes, go ahead. Keep working on it. And then we keep working. And then we realize we didn't create. We just co-created. What a joy to co-create. But that gives us humility. We are not original. We don't create anything. We're simply instruments of God. So let us pray that we become reflectors of the divine light. Shall we? Yes, friends, tomorrow when we come back, who is going to be with us? Andre Luis again. He's going to talk about our group. And it's very beautiful. He's going to calibrate ourselves by talking about our group as a farm. What? Right, Marlene Lerato and Andrea Andres. How are you, friends? Come back tomorrow. Let's pray that we'll be back here tomorrow for more of wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. Let us be grateful to Maria Dolores as our teacher tonight, as she brought this beautiful quiz, hoping that we attune ourselves higher and higher, reflecting the divine light. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Paula and Cesa.